Hey, what's up guys? Toogie here, back again with another episode of Call It the Nation United, I guess, technically. Another episode of my Canada-based FIFA Career Mode series right here on FIFA 19, and this episode sees the beginning of a new challenge. The last episode capped off by a ridiculous set of games in the playoffs that saw us promoted to the second tier of the German Football League system. We are in Bundesliga 2 this season. A tremendous accomplishment for this club and for the players involved. But moving forward, the pressure is obviously on. We have a low rating despite that promotion, and we need things to go our way right out of the gates here. Otherwise, that rating could drop, and you never quite know. Normally, it takes a pretty damn low rating to get fired, but knowing my luck with games like this, it would happen a little bit sooner. Now, we do have a couple of things to get to. First and foremost, of course, 3 players have left the club: Simon Colline, Theo Bayer, and Julian Dunn. But we do have Mark Anthony Kay joining the team, which is a tremendous addition to this squad. You look at that midfield and this team in general. Of course, right now, this version of the team is a little bit weaker than what we would normally run. Of course, we'd normally have Tabla and Clark. But the midfield needed a little bit of help. Fraser, White, and Okello. White's the main man that we're focusing on. Fraser and Okello will get better. They're young enough, but they don't have the promising training tag anymore. So they're not going to be long-time members of this team. But you look at Kay, who joins this team, and just what an addition he's going to make. Say we even just bump him right up there for Cunningham. Say we play him over Fraser. That midfield looks a hell of a lot better already. And you would have seen a second ago, we have $11 million to work with. Now, I'm not entirely sure what we're going to be able to do. Now, I did go back through and pinned all of the Canadian players that we don't have that we might want to look at. And again, striker-wise, right here, Raheem Telfair, which I'm not sure if he's real. I think he is at 19. But he might not be, so I'm going to scout him out. I should have just checked SoFIFA to find out. Liam Millar, I pinned again. Just want to keep an eye on how he develops. The big one, though, is Cavallini, who we just can't quite afford. But if we were to sell somebody, maybe, just maybe. Kyle Aaron's there as well. But yeah, he's a tad bit more expensive, but that'd be a hell of a 1-2 punch with those two and Jonathan David up top. Of course, Alphonso Davies is the one that we really want to go after, but it's going to take us a while to get there. But aside from that, looking at guys like Sam James and other Canadians that ended up in teams' youth academies, if I had to guess, it's one of the 2 Tabla boys. I think it's Noble Tabla, who may have ended up being the regen for Hainaut. I'm not entirely sure, but I think everything kind of checks out. So we're going to be scouting out these guys, seeing what we're dealing with, seeing if anybody's worth bringing in, although I think it'd be amazing if Luke Singh was generated, but I don't believe he is. So we got a couple of players that we're keeping an eye out on. Unfortunately, though, in terms of bringing in that extra bit of money, it's not really going to happen, I don't think. There's no one that I'm really looking at selling right now. We still need to get some of these goalkeepers trained up, which would be great. And first and foremost, we might as well focus on some of these contracts. We got 4. We're going to delegate for Boosty. And what the hell was he making as it is? He was only making $1K a week. You know what? Yeah, we'll start at 7 and bump it up a little bit. 3 years. Perfect. At 7.3. So Boosty is going nowhere. Peter Gagnon, are you going anywhere? Yeah, I'm just going to offer him 7. He was making $500 a week. Nearly 600. I'm just going to offer him 7 because I don't want him to get offended. 2-year deal. Perfect for me. Noble Okello, what can we get you for, buddy? 2 years, works for me. And then the big man, Jonathan David, just 20 years old as well, is gonna want to get paid a lot. And the good thing is we can afford it. Okay, I don't know if I like that release clause. I mean, I do, because about time someone gives me $31 million for Jonathan David. We're looking good, but I can't do that. I can't risk somebody taking him away just like that because we won't have anybody available who is immediately as good as he is. So let's try to negotiate this on our own. Of course, Crucial works. Wants a 4-year deal, so I'm going to be able to counter with the max 5, which is tremendous. We just have to pay him enough money to disregard the release clause. And all of a sudden now they don't want the release clause, which is perfect. Just tell me how much money you want. Write it down. Oh my God. Well, it's a good thing that we negotiated this on our own then. The other ones I don't care about, we have Jonathan David on a steal of a contract. That is not even fair. We have him locked down for 5 years. That is tremendous. Now we just need to hope that we don't get sacked because, damn, that we are set up for success with that contract, no doubt about it. So I think that's what I'll do is I'll probably just handle the ones that we really have to worry about. So with this team, I mean, for the most part, we're not going to look to lose anybody. I'm going to try to loan out Cohen Wilson. Morgan, of course, and Boosty are the main two. I do not want you on the loan list, buddy. I do not want any offers for you. Matheson Godinho will be the one to punch at right back this season. And really at center back, we're good to go too. Trying like hell to train up Ethan Wolf, even though he really doesn't have the height, because of course Henry's 27 and James is 26. Not that they're old, but you know, in terms of development, we pretty much know what they are. No offers for Gagnon. Walter Park will loan out for the season. And we'll also loan out Walter Cameron because I don't really know what he's going to be. So we'll keep calling Gauthier for the rest of the year. Midfield-wise, Frazier's going nowhere. Okello's going nowhere. George Clark is going nowhere. I don't really think we're going to look to lose any of these guys now that I think about it. Just what a huge signing, though, it was to get Mark Anthony Kay on a free. That is tremendous. Did not want to go to team management. Please bring me right back to where I was with it sorted properly. Thank you. Oh, my God, it did it again. One more time. One more time. There we go. Good Lord. Baloo Tabla goes nowhere, man. It's Baloo Tabla. Jonathan David goes nowhere. Victor Olsen goes nowhere. Someone else who will try to focus on training up a little bit this season. Justin Cunningham, of course, will stay. And on that left-hand side, we're still good. Yeah, we're not really looking to move on from anybody. I know Jordan Hamilton wanted to leave, which sucks. So I might let him go because I do think it hurts the rating, the manager rating, that is, to keep him on the team when he's complaining. So we'll add him to the list. That's fine because I can train up Olsen, you know, to get to Jordan Hamilton level fairly quickly. Not to mention, we still have some good players in the youth academy. So we will look to move on. Of course, we are in a preseason tournament as well against 3 teams that we could very well beat. At least I'd like to think. And here, let's just reassign the budget there just to get more of a look. About $5 million in spending money. Now, the big thing this season, now that we're in Bundesliga 2, is that we are going to be in a, of course, you know, mid-season tournament. And how is that going to factor in? Just hopefully we don't get screwed on the schedule front. That would be a disaster. Is there anybody from the Youth Academy we want to let go of? Tyler Gauthier will be dropped. We got Joseph Gagnon between the sticks. And from there, Walter Rogerson is going to be dropped. And we're good. Someone like Russell Williams could be signed pretty much immediately. We have 2 prospects right now in the Youth Academy that are a 60 or better, which isn't too bad. But again, with us not really looking to sell anybody right now, we need those goalkeepers to be trained up. If we're going to do that, it's kind of tough. Although we did just get a budget increase, and I'm intrigued to see for how much. But we'll see what happens here in this first preseason game, and we might have our first scouting report back of the episode. We do not. It's player conversations. Cameron and Wilson want to play. Didn't want to back out there, but that's okay. Let's go put Cameron and Wilson in. Our rating's up a little bit. Let's get these guys in the lineup. That way they are not complaining and not upset. So there you go, fellas. You can play. No questions asked. And it's tough because what I was going to mention is this season, I don't know if I want to train up our goalkeepers to increase the budget or just train up our starters to make sure we do well. Not bad. Got an extra nearly $2 million to spend, which not overly helpful at the moment, but still not bad. Our goals for the season, I mean, you know, increase the profit margin, whatever, the shirt sales, whatever. Reach the round of 32 in the league tournament. Sign 3 players younger than 20 years, which that's fine. We'll get that pretty much no problem. But within 3 seasons, grow 8 youth academy players by at least 10 points and have them play in 20 matches. That's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one, although it's a little bit more manageable. And finish mid-table this season is the goal. I think that one's manageable. I'd like to think we can do that. But you watch, we'll be relegation fodder, I'm sure. Just because our luck is tremendous. As we win our first preseason game, 1-0, Jonathan David, the only goal of the game. Good start there overall. Of course, much like last season, we're going to take it slow and steady here at the start, and then towards the, really throughout the majority of the season, we'll start to kick it up a little bit. So this is how I handled the training in week 1, focusing on Boosty, Wolf, who's of course the defender, White, the center mid, and David. I think I'm going to stick with that. Like I said, as much as I'd love to train up our goalkeepers just to sell them and get that profit in, mainly to get Alphonso Davies, I think it's going to be a little bit more of a slow and steady approach to that. Unless we were to pull the old financial takeover, which I don't think I want to do. I think it's more interesting to not get our top player, essentially. Hey, we did actually get a scouting report this month. Okay. Cunningham is terrible. Jordan Jackson is terrible. Larry Henry, great name, but terrible. Alex Henry, terrible. Walter Frazier, not good enough. Justin Gauthier, not good enough. Noah Olsen, not good enough. Well, that was beneficial, wasn't it? Nobody joins the team. And as far as the team is concerned here in this preseason tournament, let's get Baloo Tabla back in. And let's get Okello back in. And we'll keep running with our main players, just trying to get them up to a higher rating. It's pretty much the way to go. I mean, as much as I want to play some of these other guys, and again, during the extra tournaments that we're involved in, we'll try to get some of these guys into the lineup. But for now, I want to keep that good form going and try to get these guys on higher ratings as soon as possible, because the start of the season is going to be crucial for us. A 2-1 win over Warsaw. Clark and Tabla with the goals, so still rolling here in this tournament. As long as we don't lose this game, we're pretty much guaranteed to go through. As we get a loan offer for Walter Park. It's from a Polish club, I believe. It certainly looks like it. And we'll see if that goes through. I mean, he's a 49 rated player. Doesn't work out too well for us. He does have somewhat of a future. Derek Cornelius is not happy. I don't blame him, but he stays for now, unless we end up getting a half-decent offer for him, which we won't. We get another loan offer from Park. The Rockdale. The Rock. The Roach. The Rosh. Yeah. Anyway, we're moving on. We got our last game here against Brondby, and we'll see what we can do unless there's another email. There is. Park doesn't want to move anywhere. Cool. Thanks, Walter. Our grade's up to a 52, which is very nice. Let's see if we can go undefeated through the group stage of this preseason tournament. Get a little bit more money to spend as well for winning it. And 3-2, I'll take it. 2 goals for David, 1 for Baloo Tabla as well. And that is a perfect 3-0. It's going to be a decent bit of money handed over to us. Nearly $1 million. $928,000. Every little bit helps. Training-wise, again, we'll just stick with those 3. Boosty, up to a 72. Didn't think I'd train up Boosty over the goalkeeper that came from the youth academy, but again, there was that injury, I think, and then Boosty just stepped in and carried this team to victory. I mean, he's a little bit shorter than our other option, but in terms of the sim, it's tough to say how much an effect that has. Walter Cameron gets a loan offer. I hope this goes through. It's pretty disappointing to see some of these teams going through rather than, say, Bundesliga 3 sides, but, it works. Cremona, stand in our way. Can we get a gigantic win here to rack up just a little bit more prize money? Yes, we can. Jonathan David, oh my God. He just can't stop scoring. If he keeps up this pace, it's going to be a very good season for us. That is a little bit more money in the bag. That is an extra 1.3, nearly 1.4 million. That is tremendous. If we can win this preseason tournament, we're actually going to get pretty close to being able to make a half-decent move here, especially depending on how good some of those players are that we're currently scouting. Cameron has been loaned out, so that's good. He's off to Santa Fe. Our rating's up to a 55, And if Jonathan David can get a victory here, Jonathan David and his band of merry men against, I believe this is a Belgian side, we can say that this has started off in a big-time way. 3-2-1, 5-4 on penalties. Clark gets the goal. Bongonda tied it. And we ended up winning 5-4 on penalties. So we actually win our preseason tournament. It was the most difficult preseason tournament and the one with the biggest prize pool. So that is a damn good start. Nearly an extra 1.9 million. And that is very good in terms of not letting down the board early on. So a damn good start for us as we head into our first season in Bundesliga 2. Wolf up to a 65. If we lose Cornelius, which I'd prefer not to, of course, we only have 4 center backs right now. But if we lose Cornelius, Wolf is right there and ready to go. And let's see what happens here as we move forward. I'm intrigued to see if we get an offer for Jordan Hamilton. And I'm intrigued at what information we'll get back about some of these guys. We get a loan offer for the goalkeeper, Cohen Wilson. We'll see if that goes through. That team's logo looked like it looked like a logo for like your local, auto body shop or something like that, or like a shitty tattoo studio. No disrespect if you somehow support that team, but that was bad. Wilson has been loaned out to Lobos, and we do get a transfer offer for Jordan Hamilton from Başakşehir, the Turkish league, 2.2, which is about his value. Again, I really don't want to get rid of him, but he's unhappy. He's going to keep complaining. We might as well go for this. I mean, it kind of sucks, but like I said, now we'll change our focus to the younger striker that we have if that deal goes through, which I imagine it will. So let's go ahead and make that change. Jonathan David's going to make it up to his 77 fairly quickly. So it will be Olsen. Victor Olsen, who gets quite a bit of focus here. We'll actually take a little bit of focus away from Wolf as well, just to get Olsen's stamina up. Of course, that 1 bronze drill is the only drill where you can get someone's stamina up. That's why we have been spamming it. It's pretty dumb, but it's the way it works. So we'll see if Jordan Hamilton leaves the team, which again would suck, but it is what it is. We actually get another offer from BSC Young Boys in Switzerland, and we'll accept that too. I'm sure he'll leave the club. If he's going to accept or reject that Turkish offer, he'll accept the offer to go to Switzerland. He wanted to leave. We'll let him leave. So be it. I might even add an offer or, make it available. And there you go. Jordan Hamilton's gone. Might even make Cornelius available as we do get our final scouting reports on these guys. Let me delete all this and we'll go take a look. So Hamilton wanted to leave, didn't really want to get rid of him, but he got his wish. He was never going to be a long-time player for this team. So that's an extra 1.5 million towards the budget, which leaves us with 11. All right, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. In terms of how much we're going to be able to do with it right now, again, that's looking shaky. Goalkeeping-wise, I saw Borjan, who's still the highest rated, and then Liam Pantemis, who sounds, you sound more like Greek than Canadian. He's a 46, so yeah, we'll be removing those two. Again, Gallard is there, still keeping an eye on him. He went to Napoli, but he'll be worth keeping an eye on. We have Luke Singh, who is a 54. In terms of his actual potential, I'm not going to know, but not really intrigued. Noble Tabla is a 51, and Jonathan Tabla is a 53. Of course, we can't really see what their potential is from here, but no crazy ratings for any of them, so I'm pretty much going to hold off. They're not any better than who we have in the academy, so they're probably players that I'll look to rediscover later on. Christian Gutierrez, again, I don't really think we need. I just wanted to pin him again to see how highly rated he was, but we're good with Peter Gagnon. And unfortunately with Gallard, it just glitched out, but I trust Godinho. The midfield is where we could look for an improvement. Samuel Petit is there. Michael Baldissimo is a player I wanted to see how good he was. He's only a 56. And Atiba is still not looking to retire, which is crazy, but we could bring him in. We could run K at Cam and then have Hutchison and Petit. Or Piet, I guess it would be. Sorry. French names, man. Although Piet just moved. Yeah, he did just move. Damn it. But not as if we don't have other options. Asoro is affordable at a 72. Scott Arfield's affordable, but we have Baloo Tabla there. Arfield would be good for the depth, but the issue is he's probably just a little bit too expensive for a depth option. Sam James, another Youth Academy guy who's just not very good. And then Melvin is a 59. Interesting. We'll keep an eye on him. I'm going to remove him from the list for now. So I don't think Scott Arfield's going to work. Although, you know, in fairness, he is technically a center mid. I always view him as more of a left mid. $6 million there. Osoro's at about 6. And then Hutchison. We have options. Hallett would work, but I like Tabla a little bit more, and the fact that he's 32 is scary. You know, it's tough to want to spend money on guys that you know are going to start declining pretty soon. Bayiha's there. Again, not bad, but we do have some better options. It almost makes me wonder. Again, like Buchanan, I'm not really looking at right now. Millar, I think we'll get rid of, and then Telfair is only at 52. It makes me wonder here. Obviously, Alphonso Davies is going to be too expensive. But is it possible? We might as well see if by some miracle we have a player swap that makes this a possibility. I highly doubt it, but screw it. Let's go for it and see what happens. So for a player swap, obviously Jonathan David's going nowhere. We don't have anyone who isn't a Canadian right now. But we have a couple of wingers there, midfield-wise, with K. Not that I'd want to immediately flip him, but it could happen. Boosty's worth 3.7. Gagnon's worth quite a bit. Walter Mathis is already worth quite a bit. And then center backs. I mean, technically, if I were to move... I like Daniil Henry, but if I could move Daniil Henry, that would be fine, because Cornelius will certainly go up in overall point. Let's just see what their interest is in Daniil Henry there. Is in Daniil Henry. God. Wingers. Can I interest you in a Matthew? I don't really want to move Chouanier, but it would make sense. Can I? What can I do is the question. Can I interest you in a Liam Fraser? Apparently not. Can I interest you in neither of those two? How about a Matthew Chouanier? He's clutch. Yeah, that's not going to happen. It's just, it was worth a shot. Here, I'll offer you a fee of $10 million, not $20,000. $10 million. What do you think? Yep. I figured he would be pretty pissed. It was never going to happen, so it's fine. However, Kyle might happen. If we can find the right deal. Cavallini we can't get. But I'm wondering if we go with a 2-striker set, or do we bring in the midfield help? Because Petit would be the best guy to bring in from the midfield help, but we can't get him right now. But Osorio would be pretty sweet. And I prefer Osorio over Arfield, just because Arfield's 31. I think that's my issue with Hutchison as well. I don't want to give up, even though he's cheap and he would help. We got to go for that midfield help, I think. Unless I can get Laren here. Is it Laren or Lareen? Unless we can get old Kyle here for a good price. But there's no denying the midfield help of bringing in, say, even just Osorio and Hutchison would help out so much. It would take away from some of the youth getting into the team. But you know what? Let's try to get Osorio. Let's get Arfield out of there. I know I said, like, oh, I don't want to get Arfield, and then I'm going to go after Hutchison, who's 37, but it makes sense just because of how cheap he is. So, Jonathan Osorio. Can we work out a deal here to help improve the midfield? That is the question, and help improve the midfield depth in general. Is there a player swap that would work here? I don't really want to get rid of Cunningham. So we'd have K, White, Astorio. Technically, Frazier would be the best guy to go out of this group. Unless I also get rid of a center back, which, again, I don't really need to. So I think for Osorio, we look to basically swap him with Frazier, and then we bring in Hutchison on basically pure money. I think that's the better way to go, because I don't think Frazier's going to get that much better, where Okello can. So let's see if they have any interest in Frazier. They will on the response, so it's going to be 3.375 with an extra 500 tacked on, plus Frazier for Osorio, and I will do that. It's a 7 overall point improvement. Osorio's good enough to the point where I don't think Frazier will ever reach that mark. We'll see if we can get the deal done with Jonathan Osorio, and then for Atiba Hutchison, Canadian legend. Let's see if we can bring him into the team. Again, it'll be pretty much straight cash. And let me offer, say, $800K first. They might get pissed. Okay, they wanted up to 115. That's not bad. Basically paying a little bit over his value, 5% sell on. I'll do that, and we still end up with a decent amount of money left over. So Hutchison. Let's delegate here. How much is he on right now, money-wise? Would you like to tell me, please? Apparently not. So I'm a little bit afraid. A little bit afraid. Let's negotiate here, and then hopefully he sends me the offer, because I don't want to piss him off. That would suck. So here we go. Let's see if we can bring the Canadian legend in. He will be a crucial player for us, even at 37 years old. And that's exactly what he wants. How many years? I'm going to go 2. I think he'd probably only want 1. 2 is perfect. Okay. Disregard the release clause, and perfect. He sent me the exact offer that I was hoping for. Atiba Hutchison joining the team, and now we'll see if we can get Jonathan Osorio, of course, money, and Liam Frazier in the move. It was last year's big move of getting Jonathan David at this point that led us to having so much success, and I can only hope these moves will do the same as we try to get Osorio from Preston North End, and we'll be able to get a 2-year deal there for him. That's perfect. No release clause. That's perfect. Just tell me how much you want. Tell me how much you want. Yes, it's perfect. Perfect. So Jonathan Osorio has joined the team as well. 2 very good additions to our midfield. That still leaves us with about $6 million to work with once you factor in the budget. $5 to $6 million, really. So I'm feeling pretty good about what we've done thus far before we even play our first game of the season. Which we will not actually play. I'm going to leave it up to the AI. Of course, last time we wanted to test out Jonathan David. This time, though, while I'd like to think we'd get off to a good start, we're going to hold off on playing it and get right down to simming. Our grade's up to a 62. And I think, it's funny though, David's scoring like this. I was initially going to move us back to this formation, but the AI is doing super well in this formation in terms of getting Jonathan David goals. So we'll stick with this formation. And then lineup-wise, of course, we have Park, we have Gauthier, we have Wolf. Osorio, of course, will be in the starting team. So Cornelius will be on the bench alongside Mathis. And then the midfield, we're going to have these two get bumped up. So while White and Okello have been good, it's going to be Osorio and Atiba Hutchison joining the team. There is nobody in the starting 11 below a 70 overall, which is exactly what I wanted to see. Let's get Wilson onto the bench as well. That is the team. Feeling pretty good about it. While I do love James, I think Hutchison would want James to keep the captain's armband. I think he would. That is the team. Feeling damn good about it. Let's see how we compare to some of the other teams in Bundesliga 2, as we'll take a look at the team sheets here. So let's see what we have. So you have Nuremberg at a 74, 72, 72. I still don't know how to pronounce their name, but 67, 69, and 69, 70, 71, and 70, 72, 69, and 69 there. Darmstadt at 71, 70, 67. Dresden, 69, 69, 70. Duisburg, 69, 70, and 69. Zwickau, terrible, 65, 64, and a 65. Fürth, I guess it would be, 68, 70, 69. That's, of course, who we're playing our first game against. Hamburg, 71, 74, 73. U.S. international Bobby Wood at the top, leading the way. Heidenheim, I guess it would be Heidenheim, 73, 69, 69. Ingolstadt at a 69, 69, 70, 3.5 star. And then you have Kaiserslautern, 71, 71, 70. So we're right in the mix thus far. It's a fairly competitive league. Parity certainly exists. But then when you also factor in a 72 rated keeper in Boosty, you have Pollersbeck on Hamburg, who's better. And Ortega in Bielefeld, I guess it would be. And then Mathena at Nuremberg. So there's only a handful of keepers we've seen thus far, too, that are better than Boosty. You go to Karlsruhe, and we're looking better than them. We're looking better than Paderborn, even though they have a 73 keeper. Sandhausen, looking much better than them. Freiburg are a Bundesliga caliber side. They're going to be tough to beat. And then St. Pauli. So I like our chances this year. If you factor in that this team's only going to get better throughout the regular season, I think this could be something special for us. Now, we don't exactly have aspirations of getting promoted right to the Bundesliga. That would be pretty insane. But it would be pretty nice. Now, I wonder, can I loan Samuel Piet? Because that would be insane. Damn it. Can I loan Kyle? Damn it. Can I loan Cavallini? Damn it. Can I loan Alfonso? They're still pissed at me. They're still pissed at me. They want nothing to do with me. So let's do this. Let's sim our first game in this series in Bundesliga 2. It is a home game. Let's see what happens. 3-2-1 and a 4-0 win. My God. Tabla, Clark, and 2 goals from Jonathan David. Heads up, everybody. Kaiserslautern back in the second tier. That is one hell of a way to make an impact. That is a statement victory that we are back in the second tier and that we mean business. Great effort there. Boosty makes it up to a 73 overall. We're going to focus on him pretty heavily, try to get him to be the top goalkeeper in this division by the end of the season. My God. If we've seen our team play, 6 games thus far in this episode? If they keep scoring for fun like they've been doing, we are in such a good spot. Although I will admit right now I'm a little bit worried that we don't have a scouting move coming up. We'll see if we can send Walter Park down to Australia. He's being a real pain in the ass trying to get out of here. Our grade's up to a 67. And let's double check the youth staff. Damn it. So that last report I misread as a, hey, here's an update on your current people. It was actually the last group, but that's fine. So we'll take a look at wingers for the next 3 months. Like I said, we're just going to keep going through. Unless we get the goalkeepers, I'll probably just skip for now. But there we go. We'll go for wingers, and of course we'll get one more scouting report for sure. So second game, team remains the same. Let's see what we can do. If Jonathan David can keep scoring like this, we're good to go. They lost to Freiburg 4-1 in their first game, our first road game of the campaign, and we get a draw. Hutchison scores 7 minutes in on the penalty. They tie it in the 82nd to take a point. So 4 points through our first 2 games, a decent pace. And still, right now second. And that'll hold, I would hope. But Freiburg right now undefeated through their first 2 games. So again, we'll get the scouting going. Boosty's reflexes and kicking going up. Olsen, like I said, we just got to train him to the point where he is a clear Jordan Hamilton replacement. Our grade's already bounced back up to a 68. So this was the perfect start for what we were looking to do here, and Park just refuses to leave. Go get some playing time elsewhere, man, because otherwise you're just going to sit here and do nothing. We don't have space for you. You wanted to be signed. Now go play somewhere else. Go play with your friends. Leave me alone. Damn it. Dresden, next on the agenda. Team remains the same. Let's do it. Let's see if we can get back to our winning ways. This team winless through their first 2 games, losing to Freiburg as well, 2-1. Can we get the win here on our home turf? Yes, we can. 3-1. 2 goals again for Jonathan David. Baloo Tabla also chips in. So good stuff. Undefeated through 3 matches. Won both of our games at home. That's a decent pace that we've set. And bam, there we go. We're back up to a 71. You love to see it. We are very quickly out of danger. And our first round matchup here in what is essentially, think of the FA Cup or the League Cup, essentially, for England. Same thing here as Walter Park. For the love of God, just leave. But it's the same thing here with the DFB Pokal. And we'll see. It's our first ever non-preseason tournament action as we get another loan offer from Park. For the love of God, just leave for the season. I'm begging you. We don't need you. Just go. Please, go, get better, and then I can sell you later, and you might be the one who helps me get Alphonso Davies. That's the plan. Imagine Davies next to Jonathan David. My God. As we are approaching the transfer window as well, Park is not leaving. And this is tough because we need to win this. I don't want to play it because it's so early on. I don't want to play it, but it's tough as to whether or not we use some of our secondary players or if we just have our first team go for it, because it is such a crucial game for us early on. We certainly don't want to get bounced from this tournament, but the thing is, our first team is good to go. The only people really suffering right now are White, Cunningham, Cameron Wolf. The reserves are the only ones suffering right now. And so be it. I mean, someone like Cornelius might be mad about not getting starts, but I need this team to win as much as possible. So we're going to stick with them. It's a home game. They're coming off of a loss to Nuremberg, so I'd like to think this would be another victory in our first ever DFB Pokal game, although they score 4 minutes in. Right. Come on now, we can do this. Please? Please. Because if we're going to lose, I would have rather just started some of our other options just to have gotten them a start. This isn't looking good. Okello's on for K. James picks up a yellow card. We have 20 minutes left, and we need a goal, or we are getting bounced immediately. Chouinier's on. Dabo makes it 2-0. And that journey ended fairly quickly. So I imagine the grade's going to take a hit. Apparently not. I mean, the goal was to make it to the round of 32, and we did not do that. Unless I'm mistaken and we're not out, but I'm quite sure we're out. So that blows, but hey, we can focus on the league, which is pretty much the most important thing to me, as Boosty makes it up to a 74. That is tremendously disappointing as well. You figured with a home game, the sim would have gone our way, and instead we just get completely shut down. So not ideal. Bielefeld right now, 6th in the league. Yeah, we are indeed bounced from the tournament. So, I mean, we only have one more point than them. It's not as if they were a pushover club, but still, it's the type of team where it's like, man, if you can beat them, especially in that situation early on, things are looking pretty good for you. But it just didn't happen. As we will be getting back to league play here. Jonathan David, joint top goal scorer right now with 4 goals through 4 games. As we get another loan offer for Park. Bray Wanderers in form. That's not, I mean, he's gotten offers, I think, from Scotland, Ireland, a ton. I didn't even see how much money we just got for that. It wouldn't have been much. The Canadian national team can't do anything yet in terms of squad selection, so we'll pass on that. And we'll see if we can get to this next game that is just shy of transfer deadline day. As players leaving on international duty, that's all well and good. Up to a 79 rating, and it'll be Heidenheim, the Heidenheim. As, of course, we're going to be losing half of our teams. Half of our team's options. But we'll see what we can do here. Can we get a win just before deadline day? They're coming off a win against Karlsruhe. Boosty gets hurt a minute in. We do end up picking up the 2-1 win. Hutchinson on a pen, and Baloo Tabla gets the winner 2 minutes after they tied it. So a big win there on the road, but how hurt is Boosty is the question. It looked like he was able to finish the game. He's out for a week. Okay, pulled hamstring. That's not too bad. That could have been a hell of a lot worse. I don't know why it's forcing me to fix the lineup. I don't really care. We'll see if we can finally loan out Walter Park. He's rejected about 17 goddamn offers, which is great. As we get to deadline day, Milinkovic-Savic to Bayern, one of the big moves. I think I forgot to look at the January moves from last year. That is what it is, though. Can I loan out Alphonso Davies? Nope. Nope. So we are pretty much done. But I like the moves that we made, bringing in Hutchinson, bringing in Osorio to really shore up this team. There really isn't anybody else that we could bring in that represents an improvement to the starting side, aside from the people that we still have pinned. So I think we're pretty much good to go. It'll just be a matter of how this team does, the continued improvement amongst the players that we already have. And hopefully this proves to be a good year. Park is finally gone. Thank the Lord. It took 17 offers, but he's finally gone. Our rating is up to an 81. So we're looking pretty good there to have just completely rebounded in terms of rating. We got the board back on our side. The good thing is, too, Boosty should be back to 100% before we have to worry about playing another game. As, of course, the international break is coming up. Fedal's forehead has been transferred to Standard Liège. And that is it for deadline day. So, nothing doing for us on the actual day, but impacts made before then. We actually won Manager of the Month for the opening month of the season, which is pretty damn sweet, and certainly not something that I expected. And Derek Cornelius, unfortunately, wants out. That's fine. If he ultimately does leave, we can train up Wolf to replace him, so I'm honestly not too scared. And speaking of Wolf, actually here, Ethan Morgan will get Boosty's training for now. But yeah, if Cornelius ends up leaving, we have Wolf, and of course we have other guys within the youth academy that will be making a step up sooner rather than later. So I'm not really shedding any tears for him wanting to leave the club, as we have an international game with Canada against the Ivory Coast. As far as our team is concerned, of course I didn't make any changes, but Boosty is hurt, which sucks. But obviously, we are going to make sure that Jonathan David is in. Cavallini's strong. But actually, I don't even know what the hell I want to do here. A two-striker set would probably work pretty damn good, though. We're going to go... Holy, glitched out picture for a second there. We're going to go with David and Laren. Cavallini will still be there. Jordan Hamilton can ride the pine, because screw him. We'll have Davies not there, but we'll have Davies on the left. Hallett on the right. Sorry to one Scott Arfield, who was the captain. And Hutchison, I kind of want to be able to play. Actually, you know what? Clark's going to be on the right-hand side since he's ours. And I think we're looking good. Gagnon's going to be in. Godinho's going to be in. Nepotism! Hooray! We'll get straight then at center back. So I think we're looking pretty good. Hallett's going to sit. You know what? Here, let's do this. I don't even know if... Yeah, Davies can't even technically play Cam. But there we go. As much nepotism as we can possibly work into the team. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And Arfield will be out for Hutchison. Perfect. That's my team, Canada, if I've ever seen one. It doesn't make any sense. Ivory Coast, though, was a very tough matchup. We'll see what we can do, especially considering it's a road. You know, it's a road game, and you often don't get the sim results. CO scores 3 minutes in. But we do come back. Peter Gagnon and Jonathan David. The Kaiserslautern boys leading the way. We get a nice comeback victory against the Ivory Coast. It will be Mohamed Salah and Egypt up next, as we do get a scouting report back from Lang. Walter Banks is terrible. Daniel Taylor's not going to cut it. Nathan Park's not going to cut it. Brett Sullivan's not going to cut it either. We have not had a single player join the youth academy in this episode. Let's see what happens here, though, against Egypt. Can we shut down Mohamed Salah? They're coming off of a 2-1 loss to Mexico, as Salah is not in the lineup. They have Trezeguet and Ramadan Sabi up top. And we get the win. 83rd minute. Took 83 minutes to get a goal, but Jonathan David wins the game. He wins games for club. He wins games for country. Jonathan David's amazing, as Josh James wants out of the Youth Academy. Let's go take a look. It's about time that we take a look anyway at the team and the upgrades here. So Josh James, 48 overall at 18 years old. That's not going to happen, buddy. Sorry. So we will outright release him instead. Kenneth Wolf will be cut. Jordan White, I mean, the potential's nice, but the overall is kind of rough. Eric Olson's going to stay. Joseph Wood's looking really good. Russell Olson's looking fine, except your parents forgot an L. Brian Park is okay. Joseph Gagnon looking pretty good in goal. Mathis, really nobody else I want to get rid of. Russell Williams is going to have to be signed, though, pretty soon, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, again, getting young options into that midfield, especially after you've brought in some older options here, not a bad way to go. We'll keep the training the same to get Morgan up to a 68. Indeed, he does go up, just in case anything happens to Boosty. Of course, we did not play him for the international friendlies, but he should be good to go in a very big game early on this season against Nuremberg, who are currently in 4th, as Anthony Gauthier also wants out of the Youth Academy. Let's take a look at how good he is. And, sorry, Anthony, not going to happen. If you end up proving me wrong, we'll buy you back later. But for now, it's not going to happen. So let's get to this game. Anthony Wilson wants to play. And he will get the start over a tired Baloo Tabla. I'm not against that. We do have some other players. If Cornelius wasn't as tired, I'd let him start. I think that's pretty much it. It's just Wilson's going to start, and everything else will stay the same. So let's see what happens here. Huge game early on against one of the teams that we kind of pinned for being a top team in the league. Right now, we are currently top on goal differential. Can we defend our home turf? No, we cannot. We lose at home. For the first time in the league this season, 78th minute winner for them. They actually have the other Canadian keeper. He gets the better of us. That drops us down to 3rd as Nuremberg jumps us and Freiburg in sole possession of 1st. Anthony, you're welcome, even though we did not get the win. We will probably just sim through the end of September and then call it an episode. We have a game coming up against Paderborn here, who are currently in 5th, so taking on some of the teams that could be towards the top half of the table early on in the season. Baloo Tabla is back, and we are good to go. So we'll probably sim through the remainder of September and the next episode, especially since we don't have any league or tournament matches now, and it's all league focused. We'll make a decent amount of progress, although Hutchinson scores. We end up tying 1-1, a draw against Paderborn as we are starting to drop points. We are still 2nd in the league right now, but Freiburg and Nuremberg have yet to play, which is pretty damaging. And I got to remember to get Morgan out of there. That was just instinct to hit sim all, but still happy with bumping up White and Olsen there. We have another set of trainings here. Another set of trainings. So let's go ahead and reset this, although Olsen will still be the focused upon player. David's almost up to a 78 already. He is just absolutely killing it. I love it. And Victor Olsen's almost as good as Jordan Hamilton was, which is hilarious to me. He's like, oh, I want to leave. That's fine. You go ahead and leave. Hutchinson's value is already dropping, but that's not surprising. He was still a better option. I'm going to focus on Ethan Wolf still, as opposed to the midfielder, just because, again, Cornelius, I wouldn't be surprised to see him go at the end of this season. So let's keep training up Boosty. He is our clear number 1 at the moment, even if he is a little bit shorter than the other option. As, I mean, you know, the attributes are looking pretty good at this point. So let's see what happens here. I believe, that's a rough schedule. Sandhausen. We're going to throw the top team out there as long as they are fit enough to go. It's another home game. We have to make the most of this, please. And we do. Jonathan David, the lone goal in the 29th minute. Another clean sheet for the team. And another win that sees us maintain our spot in the top 3. Again, the goal for the season was to finish mid-table, and as it stands, I mean, granted, we're only through 7 games, but we're on a pretty good pace, hanging in there with some of the top teams. And I'm going to keep the team the same. Of course, this is a club that we lost to in the Pokal. Let's see what we can do here. Can we get a little bit of revenge? Yes, we can. God, I wish we won the other game, but I'll take it. Blue Tabla, 75th minute winner. And that might see us the top of the league. It does not. We are 3 points shy of Nuremberg, but in sole possession of second place heading into October, which this has just been the dream start, really, to the start of our second season. I mean, we bring in some solid additions to the midfield thanks to that preseason tournament success. Aside from us getting bounced from a tournament, we're looking okay. Although we do have to play Freiburg here, and this might be the perfect way to end things. As let's go to the squad submission screen or not, because it glitches. Training injury. Blue Tabla is going to be out for a week. We have a youth squad monthly report, which of course we'll take a look again. Yes, Derek, I get it. You want to leave. Here, I will add you to the transfer list right now. Negotiate with somebody. I don't care. Good Lord, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get it. Here you go, buddy. Transfer list. You go right ahead, and you leave. We will take Blue Tabla out of this lineup. It is going to be Wilson, who is brought on. White will be on the bench for this one. And with that, the team stays the same. Arguably, I mean, well, Nuremberg we've already played, but makes me wonder just how likely we are to find success. Let's do this. Let's play Freiburg. We are without Blue Tabla. It is 2 against 3 in the early stages of this series. They are in terrible form after a strong start. We also have home field, and we can't totally take advantage of it. K gets our goal. It's a 1-1 draw, so we'll stay ahead of them, but a good chance for Nuremberg to get a little bit of separation. They have yet to play. I'm going to wait until our final scouting report here. Anthony, you're welcome for the playing time. It's only because Baloo was hurt. And we'll see if Nuremberg ultimately gets the win to get that extra separation. We immediately get a transfer offer for Derek Cornelius. I saw that Nuremberg won as well. We'll accept this, and in that way, he'll stop complaining because he'll be on the way out, which is fine. But yeah, Nuremberg, 3 points clear still. Paderborn down to 4th. Freiburg all the way down to 6th. So that was a pretty devastating loss for them. Boosty is going to be just shy of 75 overall, but obviously developing very, very quickly. The Canadian contingent will be playing South Africa, but before that, we have another transfer offer. I believe this is Sporting Gijón, the Gijón in Spain, 1.3. I'll do that. Again, I don't mind Derek Cornelius, but he doesn't have that overwhelming promise at this point. And monthly scouting update, Brian White, that's going to be a no from me. Tyler Sullivan will be a yes. Jose Bliska will be a yes. Victor Gauthier, not so much. David Smith, not so much. And Jay Martin will be signed as well. So at least we were able to add a couple of players, as it's back-to-back games against South Africa. That is incredibly weird. The team will stay the same. Although I do want to take a look at the youth academy here yet again for the main team. In terms of any low potentials, we're still looking good. Even Dennis White is worth keeping. Russell Williams is going to be a monster. I'm just going to wait until he requests out because he is going to be an absolute monster. Pierre Park is worth getting rid of, and we will. But again, the academy still looking good. A distinct lack of attackers, though, which is, of course, what we're going to be trying to change. As it is, we only have 2 strikers on the team right now. Screw it, for the hell of it, let's get these games done with the South Africa. They lost to the U.S. but drew Mexico. And they beat us 2-1. Laren scores 4 minutes in, but that is a pretty bad loss. I have to admit, like, we've been able to draw Portugal. We should be able to beat South Africa, but apparently not. Ethan Morgan will take Boosty's training time. which is nice because that way, of course, his overall goes up, and if we decide to ultimately sell him, we can do just that, and by the time we do, he'll be a big money player. I mean, hell, we could work this so that Morgan is eventually, hopefully, the swap for Larin or Alphonso Davies. We get a chance at revenge here against the South Africans. This needs to be a win. That was a pretty bad loss. Got to admit, like, man, they lost to the States and drew Mexico, but they beat us. Man, they beat us twice. Back-to-back 2-1 victories for the South African side, and that is tremendously disappointing, as Derek Cornelius has been sold. He is on his way to Lyon. So Derek Cornelius will be gone in January, but I can't say I'm all that afraid. The one thing I will take a look at, of course, we're going to want to keep an eye on some of these guys that may have expiring contracts heading towards January. Being able to pick up another player on a free would be huge for this team. So let's actually take a look. I don't believe there are any Canadian free agents. There aren't. So we'll take a look at some of the other top options here. We'll just look at everybody. And in terms of goalkeepers, not that we need one, but, I mean, Beaulieu, I can't imagine's that great, especially with that low of a release clause. But if Borjan ends up being short on contract, that could be pretty good. Crepeau as well, he wouldn't necessarily be worth it. I think Borjan's really the only guy who is going to be worth anything to us. So not too many options there at goalkeeper. Defense, we'll see who we have in general. I know I don't have to sort it like this, but I prefer to. Adekugbe, we know he doesn't have a very high rating. Gallard, of course, still there. Gutierrez is 23, so despite the expiring contract, we wouldn't be able to get him. Dejan Jakovic at 35 somehow isn't retiring. Plays for LAFC. We might as well scout him out to see how good he is at this point. Brett Levis, the Levi's, perhaps. We'll take a look at, but yeah, now that I look at it, although Straith's deal's expiring, he's on the national team, he could be a good depth option. I mean, even if we get a depth option for free and then sell them, that's going to be pretty helpful. So, we're not going to have any amazing options here, I don't think, unless Larin ends up being available. Scott Arfield would be a very good get for this team. Chapman's not expiring. Raheem Edwards, not expiring either. Elva, also not expiring. Of course, we sent Liam Fraser to Preston. No expiring deal for Hallett, which is unfortunate. Will Johnson doesn't have an expiring deal, nor does Larea. Norman's a bit too old. Pietz, of course, we still have our eyes set on, but our eyes are sights. But not looking too good in terms of the amount of players to be able to pick up on a free. Wassey is retiring, which is crazy that Hutchinson's not retiring, but he is, but that is what it is. And then in terms of attackers, which is where we could really get the most help, Akindele is not on an expiring deal. Cavallini, of course, we already have pinned. Jordan Hamilton, get him back on a free. That would be funny. Jackson Hamill, not expiring. Kyle, of course, we're still looking at. Raheem Telfair, Miller, and Brian Wright. So, it's pretty much it. I mean, we kind of know who our targets are. In terms of being able to bring in anybody on a free transfer in January, it's looking unlikely. But overall, can't say this wasn't a successful episode. We are currently in second in the league table. As long as we don't lose this game against Darmstadt, we will stay there. The goal was to finish mid-table. There are 18 teams in the league. So we are very much on our way to doing that, although we are only 3 points clear of ninth. So early stages, but you have to like what you've been seeing so far in terms of results. And hell, if you're still watching this episode at this point, you like what you've been seeing. Didn't think it would go nearly an hour, but here we are. I'm having too much fun with this series. I don't know what to say. So, guys, thank you very much for watching. It is appreciated. As always, I will see you in the next one where we will focus on making a lot more progression like we had previously. I mean, at least to January, if not February 1st, and then probably the next, the episode after that would be February 1st to the end of the season, unless there are some crucial games to play. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. take it easy.